We've always really known, even before science started confirming it, that there is a relationship between hope and health. Not only hope and mental health, but hope and physical health. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas. Touching again on the Stephen King movie, The Shawshank Redemption, and the novella on which it is based, there's a line that I've used several times over the years that bears on the relationship between hope and health. As I suggested yesterday, the story centers on a man named Red, who is resigned to his fate as a prisoner. In short, he's a man who has no real hope. But after a particular encounter with a fellow prisoner, Andy Dufresne, he learns an important lesson about hope. In the movie, Andy utters this line just before he makes his escape from the prison. But in the novella, it is Red who says the words as he's deciding whether to go to Mexico to reunite with Andy or simply to stay put with no particular direction in life. He says, "And here I am at the Brewster Hotel, technically a fugitive from justice again. Parole violation is my crime. No one's going to throw up a roadblock to catch a criminal wanted on that charge, I guess. Wondering what I should do now. I have this manuscript. I have a small piece of luggage about the size of a doctor's bag that holds everything I own. I have 1950s, 4 10s, a 5, 3 1s, and assorted change. I broke one of the 50s to buy this tablet of paper and a deck of smokes. Wondering what I should do." But there's really no question. It always comes down to just two choices: get busy living or get busy dying. For Red, the choice isn't really about living or dying. That's the result. It's a choice between having hope and simply bumping along in life, waiting for the next bad thing to happen. We all know folks whose lives are defined by hopelessness and despair. I think some people are just wired to live that way, but for most of us, we can fall into despair under the right, or should I say the wrong, circumstances. Maybe it's a seemingly endless stream of bad news. Perhaps it's the death of a loved one. Maybe it's watching helplessly as a family member continues to make destructive choice after destructive choice. Things like this can suck the hope right out of us and leave us in a funk so deep we cannot see out of it. It leaves us in a state of true clinical depression, and our body begins to feel the effects of our despair. The psalmist knew something of what this was like. "When I kept my silence, my body wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy upon me. My strength was dried up as by the heat of summer. Then I acknowledged my sin to you, and I did not hide my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave my guilt of my sin." I choose this passage advisedly. As I've said before, disease isn't caused by sin, and that's not even what I'm talking about today. But in this passage, we see the relationship between the despair that the psalmist has for his transgressions against the Lord and his body wasting away. I have to be totally honest. There is no passage in Scripture that unequivocally connects hope and health, but it is hinted at throughout the pages of the Bible, and this is one of those places. It confirms what we know by experience to be true. Despair and hopelessness frequently have a terrible impact on our physical health. You've seen it, and so have I. And chances are pretty good you've experienced it yourself from time to time. Maybe despair drives you to eat more than is healthy and you gain a bunch of weight. Or the opposite. Maybe you're one of those folks who just quits eating altogether when you're in a state of despair and you lose a lot of weight. Either way, hopelessness and despair can have a profound impact on our health. I say this because it is important to have a sense of hope in life. Sometimes it's enough to have something to look forward to. A visit to see a family member, a vacation, maybe even just making a date to have lunch or dinner with a friend, something in the future. Simply having plans in the future gives us a sense of hope. But in a larger sense, having a sense of ultimate hope and hanging on to that can be the most important thing of all. So when we return tomorrow, let's talk about our ultimate hope. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.